Hey guys, so we have a new Bible verse this week. It's for the letter Z. And this is our last Bible verse for the whole year. You are so close to being done. So this Bible verse says, Zion heard and was glad. Psalms 97:8. So these are the hand motions for it. Zion heard and was glad. Psalms 97:8. It's easy, right? So, I think you'll be able to get this one super fast. Let's try it together. So, when it says Zion, it's talking about God's people. So, God's people heard and they were glad. Now, what do you think they were hearing about? God was talking to them and they were so happy to listen and to know what He was telling them was right. So, let's do it. Zion heard and was glad. Psalms 97:8. Let's try it again. One more time. Zion heard and was glad. Psalms 97:8. So we started last week talking about Kodo-san and her grandma. You remember Kodo-san was the little girl who went to the school put on by the missionaries. And her grandma was kind of worried because she said they had that strange book and she didn't quite trust them all the way. But remember, Grandma found that box with the beautiful paper with the pretty handwriting on it. And she got so excited that she decided to use that as her wallpaper. And when Kodo-san saw it, she realized it was that book that Grandma said not to bring. And she didn't know if she should tell Grandma or if she should just keep it her secret. Because she was worried that if Grandma found out, she was going to just tear it off the walls. Do you think Grandma's going to tear it off the walls? Let's see. So, Kodo-san was sitting with her grandma and she decided to tell her just a little bit. And she said, "You know, Grandma, sometimes the wallpaper talks to me." Now, Grandma said, she was confused. She said, "That's nonsense. It means that's silly. Wallpaper doesn't talk." But Kodo-san said, no, I insist. They really talk. And she chose to read some of the words to her grandma. So she looked at a piece of paper and she read of the story that told of the great God in heaven who created everything. Now, Grandma was amazed and she wanted to know more of what the story said. So Kodo-san told Grandma the piece of paper of how God created people and how Adam and Eve, they didn't listen to God, they listened to Satan instead. And Grandma said, "But did God punish them?" And then Kodo-san told her, "God says that they surely must die, but if they hadn't disobeyed, they would have lived forever." Now this made Grandma start to really want to know more, because Grandma felt that in her heart, she sometimes did wrong things too, just like Adam and Eve did. So every day, Grandma started to wait for Kodo-san to get back from school. And every day, she wanted to learn more and more about what this paper on the wall said. When Grandma heard that God sent His Son to die for us, for anyone who had sinned, she was so happy. When she heard that she could accept Jesus as her Savior, she was filled with so much joy. She just really wanted to know if it was true. So the next morning, when Kodo-san went to school, Grandma got dressed, she went down the street, and she went to the house where she found the box. Now, she was a little bit worried because that's where this lady lived. And she thought, she might be mad at me if she thinks I stole her box. But she decided to go anyways. When she knocked on the door, this lady opened. She looked a little bit different. She had green eyes and a yellowy straw kind of hair. And she smiled and asked Grandma to come into the house. Now Grandma sat on the couch and she's told the lady the whole story about how the Kodo-san read to her and how she put it up on the walls and how she wanted to know more. Grandma was excited when the lady pulled out the Bible and she saw it was the same thing. Grandma says, "It's the same as my wallpaper. Are these stories true?" Grandma wanted to know if Jesus really loved her. The missionary cried and told Grandma, "He does. He loves you so much." And then she told the Bible verse of, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Grandma got on her knees and she started crying to Jesus, thanking him for his gift and thanking God for the gift of his Son. Grandma stood up. She thanked the woman for her kind words in talking to her, and then Grandma left. That afternoon, Grandma was waiting at the door for Kodo-san to get back from school. And Grandma told Kodo-san, she says, "Our wallpaper really is the Bible." Kodo-san was worried until she saw how much joy Grandma had while she was talking about it. Grandma said, "And not only is it the Bible, but it's all true." Nobody else had wallpaper just like theirs, and it made them happy. And they knew how special their wallpaper is, so they started to invite everyone to come and see it. So they would invite the women and the children and whoever wanted to come, and they would sip tea and read the wallpaper and hear the good news that the talking walls had to share. So that's a good story that reminds us that God's love is true and what happened is real. And I love especially how at the end, they didn't just keep their special gift to themselves. They gave it to everyone.